All right, organize. So we decided to come together. We're kind of a group of two previous groups. So Salar, Sandra, and I had worked together before, and we joined in with Erin's group because we were pretty excited about their project two, which Erin and Stephen wanted to continue fleshing out. So we did organize, and it's a grassroots community organizing resource. And the idea is connect, share, and mobilize. And our pitch is that this is a grassroots hub for community organizers and by community organizers, which allows posting important information like events, live stream video, donation resources, and more. Participating organizations are by invite only, so this was kind of a key to what's so unique about it. Rather than where in social media anyone can post information, and we've got all this disinformation issues, and is it a real article, is it not, who's it by, is it a troll, or etc. This is by invite only, so basically local organizations are going to invite other people that maybe they've met and are working with or feel that are within their community hub. And so they invite them, and after that, a new organization is able to register and then contribute to what's on the platform. The content, though, is viewable by the general public. So if you're interested in something, you could see what's going on, but it can't be commented on, hacked, trolled, which creates a centralized location for community building without the negative static of social media and misinformation.
So this is a digitized community word-of-mouth application for creating and aiding social movements. So with the recent protests and social movement that's occurring, it is very hard for the general public to find any information about any events that are happening. Usually you have to go through several social media platforms to find and go through all the different hashtags and being scrolling through endlessly trying to find any information. And it's also very hard for the organizers themselves to get any of this information out, since there is no centralized hub for them to share this information with their communities. So as a social movement organizer, I want a centralized hub where I can find information about the work of other organizations, as well as have the ability to share my own information to my community while being safe in this hub, away from any trolling or targeting by hate groups.
So as far as our process, so we built out a MERN stack application with Bootstrap. Our first priority when we started building this version of the application is we wanted to make sure that first thing we get basic CRUD root set up, and that we had a basic layout and structure, like a skeleton for what our pages and navigation are going to look like. A lot of the text that we're using full calendar for our calendar management. That is prominent on our front page so that users can come look and interact with that. And then one of our prominent backend applications is our authentication, which we are using Passport with JSON Web Tokens. And that's something that Erin and Salar would definitely be able to comment a lot more on. But in addition to that, we have both an optimized desktop version of our application as well as a fully optimized and responsive mobile version, as well as a lot of dynamic and interactive components like pagination with a lot of different pages, as well as like search filtering and the ability to find information on our site quickly and easily. As far as our successes, especially towards the end of the project, we were reflecting on how few Git and GitHub issues we ran into. We did have some issues really early on, but afterwards, we really got into a good flow as far as being able to work with each other's pushes and pull requests and making sure that we weren't accidentally overwriting anyone's code all the time. Not to say it never happened, but overall we were pretty happy with our workflow there. Let's see. Also, as far as our successes, we also have our application is an application with a lot of pages with a lot of specific functionality that is unique to each page, and getting all of that to work together and in a way that's efficient and makes sense. We're really happy with how a lot of that has come together. As far as challenges, we've for sure run into issues with our backend technologies, the JSON Web Tokens, getting React to work with authentication, fighting with the state and managing state in all of our pages. The documentation as well, with a lot of the components we were trying to build, it was difficult to find documentation that was helpful to what we were specifically trying to accomplish. So we ran into, more often than not, just moments of like, screw it, we're just gonna figure it out ourselves and do the best we can with what we know. And yeah, I think that's the gist of it.
Okay, so I'm just going to take you through a demo of the site real quick. So when you get to the home page, you're greeted with this landing page right here. From here, you can use these quick links to just go and check out articles, find donation links, and video, as well as contact information for the organizations that use the site. We'll go over those pages a little bit more in depth in a moment. The main feature of our landing page is the calendar. This is really the main purpose of the site, is to find all the protest events that are happening in the area in one centralized location. So from here, when you click, you can see even more information about the events. You can go forward through the calendar, see things that are coming up, navigate back to your current day. And then we also have a page that just has a list of all the events. If you're looking to search for something specifically, you can search by the title. We have pagination working on all the pages. Now this, I believe this searches, title.
I want to say, yeah, title and location, I believe, are the two.
Okay.
The two filtered.
Great. Now moving on to our resources page. From here we have a full list of articles. These articles are all added by the users of the website. And from here you can expand the content and see full article. You can also see the source, a little bit of the description, and the organization that posted it. These are also fully functional. As far as search goes, and also clear your search and go back to seeing it. Now our donate page works pretty much the same way. Click links to go to websites where you can donate. This is also populated by input from the organizations that use the site. And we also have, though we don't have, do we have enough? Oh, we have enough. Now that you can see the second page of links as well. And this is also searchable. Now video, we have the most recent video populated here. This is going to be for live stream. I don't know if anyone else remembers, but when all protests first started up, I had the hardest time finding stream of what was happening and seeing, you're searching through Instagram, through Twitter, through Facebook, through YouTube, just trying to figure out what's going on in your city. Here, those live streams can be posted and you can watch them in one place, see what's going on. This is also complete with pagination and search functions. Our contact page, we just have a list of all the contact information for all the organizations that use the site. Just log in as a user to check out the backend. So here, when you log in, you're greeted with the profile page where you can update your information. And you can also invite another organization. This is our manage page where the majority of the work is done. From here, you can add an event. Sandra has built into all of these forms validation, so you cannot enter information that doesn't line up with what you're supposed to be entering. And I missed having them just to show that works. Okay, so also you can come in here and you can edit articles. And you can also delete them. And this functionality works for all sections of our webpage. So as far as the invite system goes, it's a little strange.
Primitive.
Yeah. Yeah, unconventional. So an organization must be invited in order to participate. You cannot sign up unless you have been invited from a user that already exists. So as a user, you can create an invite, and then if I come through here as a new user, so you create an invite and you let them know, hey, I put your email in, and you can now sign up. So they come here, they sign up, and register. You are now registered. Welcome. Now, if their email address is not in database, it will not let them register. So now I can come here and log in, and you can see I now have access to all of the admin area. And yeah, that should pretty much wraps it up. Oh, we can also show you our back end. So we have a lot of collections, but the specific one of the specific challenges was we have 3 collections. We have a collection for invites, users, and user profiles that all are used to validate whether or not someone is allowed to access the site. So joining all of these and checking them within Axios calls, within Axios calls, within Axios calls was a huge challenge, and getting all these events to be associated with the users that created them was, I think, a huge success. And have them all displayed consistently and stored with the right information. And that does it for our demonstration.
So as far as future development, Aaron sort of talked about how the invite functionality was a little, what do we say, primitive. But obviously it works. But we'd like to make it so that when you get invited, you get an email and you can kind of go through that and get to the site that way. It'd just be a little cleaner. And then also introducing some sort of like email or instant messaging internally, so that organizations that are logged in or invited, like part of the community, can communicate with each other within the application instead of just going to the contact page and finding their email and doing everything outside of it. We also wanted to let users post photos. That was an issue just because I know Mongo has limitations on how big of files you can upload and stuff like that. So you have to do sort of a different setup for getting photos on there. The video page that Aaron showed, he talked about wanting to host a live streaming right there. Right now, it's just embedded videos, but we'd like to be able to set that up so that you could host a live stream right on there. And then finally, just making it a full progressive web app, because something like this would work really well as like an iPhone app, something like that, to go alongside, like your little Facebook app or whatever. It'd be it's a prime candidate for being a really clean way to use it. So those are sort of the big picture goals that we had for the future.
So that pretty much does it. Does anyone have any questions?
Wait, that doesn't just do it. Go to the last slide, Aaron.
Oh, no. Oh,
this,
that's right.
We called this Aaron's baby. He's very passionate, but I remember when we were watching Project 2, thinking that it was such a cool idea. I remember when all the protests were happening, having to hashtag on Instagram Sacramento protest to find out, like, hey, is there a protest happening downtown today? So I thought it was really neat that they had come up with this concept. And I know that in all our discussions, part of the reason I think we spent a lot of time was because Aaron looked at it like he wants this to be fully functional and be able to offer it, because he also had people come to him asking for something like this. So he asked if he could add to this last slide, and I'll let him take it from here.
Yeah, so this is something that I'm going to continue to work on and hoping to actually get deployed in the real world in different locations across the country. And we will be beefing up the security as much as possible and making this as streamlined and robust as we possibly can. And anyone who wants to be a part of this, please let us know. This is definitely going to be an ongoing project, and I hope it's something good that helps.
Very cool. Very well done. Thank you very much, guys. Feel free to unmute your audio and offer an applause for that.
Nice job.
Amazing job, guys. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so again, open question for anybody in the group. What is it that you're going to be learning next? Anybody can take it.
We've got to get this thing deployed.
Okay.
There's so much there that it's been hard to navigate deployment to Heroku, and we're not sure if it's just because we've got so much to comb through when there are issues. That, and then in terms of like how it is, some of the functionality, like having done a lot of the front end stuff, it was too much to add on to the 9 pages we built, like animation and video headers and stuff. But I think that kind of thing is the next step of like the UI gloss where things are heading right now.
Okay, and I also noticed that you guys are using the search functionality and the paging functionality in some of the or in a lot of the modules that you have on the application. Did you find it easy to like reuse that component on other on the different modules?
Yes, asterisk. I spent a lot of time on search and pagination specifically, and I think that what I struggled with most was figuring out the best places to manage state, and at least for our where it is currently, I ended up having to settle on state for each page, and then copying a lot of handlers for the components page to page. But once, because of the way our models and database roots are structured, it was pretty easy to just sort of swap out the key variables to the different parts of the database for each page and be able to filter and manage pages in that way.
Very cool. Thank you very much. Any other questions from anybody else?
Yeah, I had a question. I saw early on in the presentation that you guys were using Passport and JSON Web Tokens. What was the purpose of using both of them rather than just one or the other?
So the Passport creates the login functionality, and then we have the encryptions for Bcrypt. But JSON Web Tokens make it so that you cannot access our routes unless you are logged in. So like you cannot use a fuzzer and find our routes and then mess with our database.
Are you using private routes or?
Yes, we
Okay.
are using private routes on the front end and JSON Web Tokens to protect our routes in the back.
Cool.
And Aaron spent, I think, the last 3 weeks straight without sleep or food or anything else doing the authentication. That was like his thing. And like, obviously, like we said, it was his baby and he cares so much about it. So like really trying to like protect it was obviously really important, but he really put in work on that authentication stuff because it was not easy to get it all hooked up with the React front end and going through the back end and all that. Like it was not easy.
Yeah, that's super cool. I feel like I see the JSON Web Tokens now in like all the modern projects for handling login and security. So it's a super good skill to have.
Great. Thank you guys very much. And I'm just going to, check on Marie, see if she has joined us.